club activities.
Oh, man, you would not believe what just happened to me.
There's a kid looking for you.
What?
Daddy?
What?
Eric Dane, the actor who became a fan favorite as Doctor Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy, faced a private battle that few could imagine. In recent months, his absences from public events and sudden withdrawals from appearances raised questions and concern.
Eric Dane, celebrated actor best known for his roles on Grey's Anatomy and Euphoria, and who later in life became an advocate for ALS awareness, died earlier today, Thursday. He was 53 years old.
Now, sources confirm the devastating news. Dane has passed away at just 53 after courageously battling ALS. Fans, friends, and family are left heartbroken. So, what really happened during his final months? And how did this illness quietly take a beloved star from the world? Let's find out. Facing the unseen enemy. In April 2025, Eric Dane made a revelation that stunned fans and the entertainment world alike. The actor, best known for his iconic role as Doctor Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy, disclosed that he had been diagnosed with ALS, also known as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, a rare and devastating neurodegenerative disease. For most, such news would feel like a sudden blow. But for Eric, the reality had been quietly unfolding for months. Symptoms first began appearing in early 2024. Subtle at first, easily mistaken for exhaustion or stress, but as time went on, it became painfully clear that something far more serious was at work. The progression of the disease was swift and relentless. Once simple tasks, lifting a cup, walking across a room, even maintaining balance became increasingly difficult. His body, which had been the instrument of his career, started betraying him in ways that no one could ignore. Strength faded, movements slowed, and over time, attending events, premieres, and even casual public appearances became nearly impossible. For many, such a diagnosis might have triggered withdrawal and despair, but Eric approached it differently. He chose transparency over fear, speaking openly about his condition with the media and sharing messages of hope and resilience with those facing similar battles. His candor turned a deeply personal struggle into a source of inspiration, showing that courage doesn't mean ignoring pain, it means facing it head-on. Work became more than a profession, it became a refuge, a place where he could still feel alive and purposeful. On set, surrounded by scripts, cameras, and colleagues, he could step into a role that reminded him of who he was and what he loved. Every scene, every line delivered became a statement. He would not allow this disease to define him or dictate the end of his story. Eric vowed to continue acting as long as he could, refusing to let ALS decide the narrative of his life. His determination, humor, and unwavering commitment to his craft became a powerful example for fans and fellow actors alike, illustrating that even in the face of a devastating illness, it is possible to find meaning, purpose, and dignity in every day. Eric Dane revealed in early 2025 that he was battling a rare and fatal neurodegenerative disease. But how long could he continue to cope with it? Would he be able to keep doing what he loved most despite the illness? Even if he wanted to, would the disease allow him to? Let's uncover the heartbreaking and chilling details. When the body fails, but the spirit refuses. By late 2025, the reality of Eric Dane's illness could no longer be hidden. What had begun as subtle signs months earlier had grown into visible, undeniable changes that affected nearly every aspect of his life. Fans and colleagues noticed his absence from major events, and several public appearances were cancelled, sometimes only hours before they were scheduled to begin. No longer able to move with the ease that had defined him on screen, he eventually relied on a wheelchair to navigate even short distances. The simple motions most of us take for granted, lifting a glass, walking down a hallway, even gesturing with his hands, had become monumental tasks. Eric's speech, once confident and steady, slowed as his muscles weakened, and everyday routines that once required little thought suddenly became exhausting battles. Despite the physical toll, he refused to retreat completely into solitude or despair. In private moments, he admitted that some days felt unbearably heavy, days when anyone in his situation might have understood the temptation to give up entirely. He described the weight of the illness as constant, pressing and often isolating, but he never allowed it to define him or his outlook on life. Instead, Eric chose to focus on purpose over despair. Even as his body betrayed him, he continued to see acting not as a job, but as a source of meaning and identity. Every scene, every line, every moment on set became a quiet declaration that he would not let ALS dictate the terms of his life. Courage, he realized, was no longer about physical strength or flawless performance. It was about the choice to find value and purpose, even when hope felt scarce. Friends and co-stars often marveled at his determination, noting how he carried himself with dignity despite the increasing difficulties. His story became more than the tale of a talented actor facing a devastating disease. It became a testament to human resilience, the quiet heroism of someone refusing to surrender, and the extraordinary strength it takes to live fully even as life grows impossibly hard. Eric's experience in these months showed that true courage is not the absence of struggle, but the relentless decision to keep moving forward and finding meaning, even when every day presents a new challenge. By late 2025, Eric Dane's condition had deteriorated significantly, leaving him confined to a wheelchair and with limited mobility in his arms. But what fueled his determination to keep fighting? How far did he go in his battle against this relentless disease? Now, let's delve into Eric Dane's courageous fight beyond ALS. Fighting for more than himself. Eric Dane's fight with ALS went far beyond his own survival. Even as his body weakened and each day became a struggle, he refused to let the illness define the limits of his life. Instead, he turned his energy outward, determined to make a difference for others who might face the same devastating diagnosis. In the months before his passing, he traveled to advocate for increased funding and research into ALS, working with organizations like I Am ALS to push for new therapies and greater awareness. For Eric, this was more than activism. It was a way to ensure that the patients who came after him would have hope, better treatments, and a chance at a fuller life, even if his own time was growing short. But what truly fueled his determination was his family. At the heart of his fight were his two daughters, Billy and Georgia. He often spoke about wanting to witness the milestones that many take for granted. The graduations, the weddings, the quiet, everyday moments that make up a family's life. Every laugh shared, every bedtime story told. Every milestone in their lives became a reason to keep pushing, a reason to fight for every extra moment he could still claim. The disease may have limited his body, but it could not limit his love or his presence in their lives. In interviews and panels, Eric spoke candidly about the importance of living fully for those you love. He acknowledged the reality of his condition, but he refused to let it strip away his identity as a father or a man with purpose. This was no longer simply a medical struggle. Each challenge, each painful limitation became a battle for time. Time to see his daughters grow, time to leave them memories, time to show them the courage it takes to face life even when circumstances feel impossible. Through it all, Eric's fight illustrated a profound truth. Courage is not just about enduring pain. It is about fighting for what matters most. For him, it was about family, about legacy, and about refusing to surrender to a disease that sought to take everything away. Even as ALS tightened its grip, his determination created a lasting example of resilience, love, and the extraordinary lengths a parent will go to protect and cherish the moments that truly matter in life. He wasn't fighting this battle for himself, but to protect and support the people who mattered most, especially his daughters, and to ensure they could thrive in life. But could he truly overcome this terrifying disease? How long could he resist its relentless grip? And if he eventually lost the fight, what would his legacy be? Let's find out. The day the news became final. On February 19th, Eric Dane, the actor beloved for his role as Doctor Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy, passed away at the age of 53 after a courageous and private battle with ALS. In his final days, he was surrounded by those he cherished most: his devoted wife, Rebecca, his daughters, Billy and Georgia, and close friends who had been his steady support through the most challenging moments of his life. Though the disease had slowly weakened him over months, taking away mobility, speech, and independence, his family remained his anchor, providing love and comfort as he faced the end with dignity. News of his passing sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. Colleagues who had shared years of scenes, laughter, and behind-the-scenes memories with him were heartbroken. Fans who had followed his journey from early television roles to the iconic Doctor Mark Sloan were left devastated, mourning not just an actor, but a man who had brought warmth, humor, and humanity to the screen. The reunion of characters, projects, or opportunities that many hoped for during his illness would never come to pass, leaving a sense of unfinished chapters and what-ifs for those who admired him. ALS had already taken its toll on Eric physically long before his passing. The disease gradually stripped him of strength, limiting the movements that had once defined him as an actor and a man who loved life fully. Yet it could not touch the essence of who he was, his spirit, his courage, and his refusal to give in to despair. Even in his final months, he faced his reality openly and honestly, sharing moments of struggle and vulnerability without ever succumbing to self-pity. His determination to continue living meaningfully, cherishing family, and working where he could became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. What remains now is the memory of Eric Dane not as someone defeated by disease, but as a man who lived with grace, bravery, and authenticity to the very end. His legacy is not only the iconic roles he played, but also the example he set, a life faced fully, openly, and without regret, even when circumstances were unimaginably difficult. Eric finally lost his battle with ALS.
Grey's Anatomy star Eric Dane has died at the age of 53. Last year, he made headlines when he announced he'd been diagnosed with ALS. It brought attention to him and to the progressive neurodegenerative disease,
leaving family, friends, and fans devastated. But could the disease have roots in his family history? And what shaped the remarkable resilience that allowed him to fight so bravely for as long as he did? Now, let's unravel the early life that forged Eric Dane's resilience. From loss to determination. Long before the bright lights of Hollywood and the fame of Grey's Anatomy, Eric Dane's life was shaped by challenges that would leave a lasting mark on his character. Born on November 9th, 1972, and raised in Northern California, he experienced a tragedy few children should have to face. When he was just 7 years old, his father, a Navy man, died from a gunshot wound. The loss was sudden, profound, and life-altering, leaving a young Eric to navigate childhood without the guidance and presence of a father. Yet, rather than breaking him, this early tragedy quietly instilled in him a resilience and determination that would echo throughout his life. It was the kind of inner strength that would carry him through the struggles of adulthood and, decades later, the unimaginable fight with illness. After finishing high school, Eric set his sights on Los Angeles, determined to pursue a career in acting despite knowing the odds were stacked against him. The city was filled with dreamers, all chasing a chance at recognition, and Eric's journey began with the kind of small, often thankless roles that test patience more than talent. He appeared in guest spots on shows like Saved by the Bell and Married, with children taking tiny steps toward building their craft and gaining experience. These early auditions, rejections, and fleeting appearances were not glamorous, but they taught him persistence and humility, lessons that no classroom could offer. Eventually, he landed slightly more substantial roles, including one season on the short-lived medical drama Gideon's Crossing. Though the show itself did not last, the experience gave Eric insight into the discipline and focus required to thrive in an unforgiving industry. These formative years laid the foundation for a career defined by dedication, adaptability, and quiet strength. The perseverance Eric learned during these early struggles would later define him not only as an actor, but as a man confronting life's most difficult battles. The grit, patience, and endurance he cultivated while chasing his dreams in Los Angeles became the very qualities that would sustain him decades later, as he faced challenges far greater than any role could present. His early life, full of loss, uncertainty, and determination, set the stage for a journey marked by both professional triumph and personal courage. Eric's early life was marked by challenges, moving from one audition to another with relentless determination. But when did he finally achieve his breakthrough? And what set him apart from his colleagues in the competitive world of Hollywood? Now, let's uncover how Eric Dane became the face of Grey's Anatomy. The rise of a fan favorite. Years of dedication, small roles, and countless auditions slowly paved the way for bigger opportunities for Eric Dane. Each guest appearance on popular television shows, Every brief recurring character and every small screen performance was a stepping stone, building not only his resume but also his skill, confidence, and understanding of the craft. Though the early work offered little recognition, it instilled in him patience and perseverance, essential qualities for surviving the competitive world of Hollywood. Every minor role taught him something new: how to connect with a scene, how to breathe life into a fleeting character, and how to stay grounded even when the spotlight seemed far away. Then, in 2006, everything changed. Eric stepped into the role of Dr. Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy.
Eric Dane made quite the entrance on Grey's Anatomy in early 2006. He was quickly dubbed Doctor Mark Sloan, and he would stick around for 145 episodes of the hit medical drama.
A character that would define his career and etch his name into the hearts of millions of viewers around the world. From the moment he appeared on screen, his charm, charisma, and confidence captivated audiences. He wasn't just another character passing through the story. He became an integral part of the show's emotional core. Viewers didn't just watch Eric Dane, they connected with him. They laughed with him, they ached with him, and they celebrated every moment his character shared with others on the screen. Dr. Mark Sloan, famously nicknamed McSteamy by fans, quickly became a cultural sensation, and Eric Dane's portrayal was at the heart of that phenomenon. He gave the character layers, blending charm, humor, vulnerability, and intensity in a way that made McSteamy feel genuine and relatable. Every scene was infused with his energy, from subtle gestures to fleeting expressions of emotion, capturing viewers' attention. Eric didn't just play a role. He created a presence that lingered long after the cameras stopped, leaving audiences captivated and unforgettable. The actor who had once struggled to land minor roles, who had spent years learning, improving, and waiting for his moment, had finally arrived. Eric Dane was no longer just a working actor. He had become a television icon. His presence elevated the stories around him, and his performance left a lasting imprint on fans, critics, and colleagues alike. In stepping into Dr. Mark Sloan, Eric didn't just find success. He found a place in pop culture, a connection with audiences that would endure long after the cameras stopped rolling. Stepping into the role of Dr. Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy in 2006 changed everything for Eric, both professionally and personally. But what did he truly hope to accomplish before his passing? Could his final efforts create a lasting legacy, one that would continue to speak for him long after he was gone? Let's uncover the astonishing details. The voice he made sure would remain. Before his passing, Eric Dane took steps to leave one final, lasting gift to the world, a memoir that would allow his voice, experiences, and reflections to endure beyond his lifetime. Titled Book of Days, a memoir in moments, the book was scheduled for release in 2026 under Maria Shriver's The Open Field, an imprint of Penguin Random House. In it, Eric opened a window into the life he had lived, sharing the moments that had defined him both as an actor and as a man, navigating love, family, and the fragility of life. The memoir is not simply a recounting of career milestones or public achievements. It is a deeply personal collection of memories, thoughts, and reflections on what it means to truly live. Eric revisits the highs of his career, the excitement of stepping onto sets, the thrill of breathing life into characters, and the joy of connecting with audiences around the world. He also reflects on the quieter, more intimate victories that shaped him as a father, capturing the laughter, milestones, and tender moments shared with his daughters, Billy and Georgia. Yet woven through these reflections is a profound awareness of his mortality. Eric shares the experience of learning that his time was limited, and the realization that life's most meaningful moments are often the simplest and most fleeting. Whether it is a shared meal, a quiet conversation, or a moment of unguarded laughter, he urges readers to recognize the beauty in the ordinary, to treasure the days that might otherwise pass unnoticed, and to embrace the depth and richness each day can offer. Even after his death, Eric Dane's story continues to resonate. The memoir serves not as a narrative of illness or loss, but as a celebration of life itself. It is a reminder that the measure of a life is not counted in years, accolades, or public recognition, but in the depth of experiences, the connections made, and the love shared. Through his writing, Eric leaves a message of hope, courage, and reflection, encouraging readers to find purpose and meaning in their own days, no matter how long or short those days may be. Book of Days is far more than a memoir. It is Eric Dane's lasting legacy, a final testament from a man who met life's toughest challenges with honesty, courage, and heart. Even after his passing, his story continues to inspire and teach, showing the world that a life lived with purpose, love, and resilience, even in the face of immense struggle, is a life that will never be forgotten. So, what do you think about the tragedy of Eric Dane? Could his foundation fight the disease that took his life? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.